I can't cook to save my life, but every year they insist on fitting me in their rice and peas. Last year, I had to tell them the story of the Grenadian Revolution. This year, everyone was asked to bring the national dish of a neighboring island, and we will be judged on authenticity, taste, and presentation. I got caught up with cuckoo and flying fish, but what they didn't know is that Angela from the Bajan restaurant in Ronny Bay was my secret ace. I brought my sister-in-law along to collect my dish. She is from Belize, a country most of us don't associate with the Caribbean community.
What's with all the flags?
The flags along the highway were left over from the most spectacular 40th Independence celebrations on February 22, 2019. Our island is the only one in the world named after a woman. Her name is Helen, and for the past 40 years, she has undergone enormous transformation. We have seen developments in our education system. Our literacy rate has increased from 54% in 1990 to over 90% in 2019. Over the years, our government has ensured universal secondary education, upgrades in healthcare facilities, a brand new hospital. Our government has moved the earth to create tunnels, one of the world's most accommodating marinas, a causeway to a historic islet, stable electricity, water, and telecommunication systems. And the number of tourists to our shores increased from 80,000 in 1979 to a record-setting 1.2 million visitors in 2018. But, like many of our neighbors, we have been assaulted by Mother Nature's fury. Hurricane Allen gave us a battering in 1980. Tropical Storm Debbie nearly drowned 145,000 inhabitants. In 2010, Hurricane Thomas left us in $336 million of debt. Yet today, we are known as the best island in which to do business by European Business Magazine. We've been awarded the world's best honeymoon destination for 10 years in a row, with the second fastest growing tourist destination in the region. As we pulled into my grandaunt's driveway, it felt like half of CARICOM arrived all at once. I love these gatherings. The look on Auntie Carol's face when she has 3/4 of the region at her home, exchanging accents and most times debating something. Although her vision is less than 2020, she has tasked us with research fit for dinner conversation that includes history about ourselves, our country, and our future as a Caribbean community, as 2019 marks the 40th meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, which coincides with year-long observances of St. Lucia's 40th anniversary celebrations. Being a history and Caribbean civilization professor for the past 17 years, I leaped at the opportunity to tell the story, with my 18-year-old daughter as my backup voice. Auntie Carol said grace and thanks for bringing us together.
United front, Father in heaven.
Uncle Arthur could not wait to start talking about the signing of the treaty.
You know, having us all here at this table reminds me of the Treaty of Chagaramas, signed in 1973.
It happened in 1973 in Chagaramas, Trinidad, and was signed by Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. From the onset, the objective was to pull the physical, natural, and economic resources of the Caribbean community and to present a united front in dealing with foreign states while creating and implementing policies that govern the community. How daunting it would be for the leader of the tiny island like Grenada or St. Lucia to negotiate a trade agreement among giant countries at the World Trade Organization, the European Union, or the Free Trade Regions of the Americas. Perhaps the greatest benefit of membership to CARICOM is the opportunity to sit at a negotiating table as a single entity and with bargaining power. CARICOM's impact on members is truly exemplified around this table. 7 of us live in different territories, yet our passports are almost identical. Travel among our islands has become hassle-free. Now any of us can travel for a period of up to 6 months or indefinitely, as long as we satisfy certain requirements. And if you are an artisan with a Caribbean vocational qualification, a sports personality, media worker, musician, entrepreneur, university graduate, or teacher, you are eligible for employment within all of the member territories.
CARICOM is actually built on some 4 main principles, including the free movement of goods and services by removing trade barriers and promoting reliable and sustainable energy. There's the provision of universal primary education and standardized certificate assessments. You also have the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases. And lastly, increasing access to HIV and AIDS treatments, strengthening early childhood development, child protection and rights, promoting environmental health, health and family life education, and things like that.
Boy, that was a mouthful, liquors.
And Mikey, what did you research?
Auntie Carol, CARICOM initiatives also work to reduce youth-on-youth violence in the region. In addition to that, the creation of the Caribbean Court of Justice is there to interpret and apply the treaty that established CARICOM and to reduce disputes between their members.
Yes, Mr. Wikipedia.
Okay.
I don't email.
Mikey, you must also remember that the work of the CARICOM Secretariat covers simple things like banking and security, competition policies, regional consumer protection, customs and excise, food and drug regulations, intellectual property rights, manufacture and trade in good regulations.
Uncle Arthur is a perfect example of how the system works. He first opened up his seasoning bottling plant in Trinidad, but through the removal of trade barriers such as import duties and tariffs, goods coming from a CARICOM member state with the rules of origin certificate are exempt from the common external tariff. This was especially beneficial to Uncle Arthur and many other entrepreneurs in the region who now have access to a market of over 14 million customers. The protection of harmonized legislation within CSME also allows regional business transactions in keeping with international standards.
Auntie Carol, my focus was on contingent rights and what it means to the common man.
Can you explain it a little further for me?
Contingent right refers to the rights granted to a CARICOM national and his or her spouse and immediate dependents if the breadwinner moves to another country for work. This means a skilled Antiguan who is employed in St. Lucia under the free movement regime can receive medical attention at the St. Jude's Hospital hassle-free.
Good news. Very good.
Auntie Carol, one of the benefits actually overlooked is our strength in numbers in our regional security system. It serves as a defense system for the Caribbean Sea, conducting many operations by detecting and combating cross-Atlantic and intra-Caribbean drug smuggling, protection of the sovereignty of nations, while often being the first responders after a natural disaster. Post-Hurricane Maria, their presence was truly felt. Do I smell Grey God's rice and beans? That could only mean one thing. Hey, T.
Wow, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I thought you would come again. What's up?
I say you would come in again, eh?
That's the traffic and the other floor in town. Mike, man.
As my cousin from Haiti sat, he dived right into the conversation.
Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Bermuda, Trinidad and Tobago, according to the European Union, they've not been adhering to good tax governance. and even so they fail to meet international standards on transparency and fair taxation. Yes. So much so 7 member states, they have been put on a monitoring list. But fortunately, they promised to undertake reforms by December 2019.
I was waiting for this moment to drop my favorite line from 2018 and to debunk the notion that our CARICOM heads are doing nothing. You know, Gaston Brown at the 39th meeting said it best. And I quote, "We cannot allow the unilaterally devised and universally imposed doctrines of the Organization of Economic Development and Cooperation and the Financial Action Task Force to be elevated above the welfare of our people and the development of our country." Yes, it is a near impossible task, and in the event very expensive. It will cost us resources we do not have, and yet if we do not comply, we will be branded as aiding tax evasion and money laundering. It is a battle we must fight, and we must fight this battle together.
I had never been prouder of Uncle Arthur. The man even have quotes, boy. And there I was thinking all he knew well was West Indies cricket and bottling seasonings. Auntie Carol's face said it all. An intellectual mind fed with tidbits of our national dishes, laughter from a family separated by water. But then, what do they say? CARICOM blood thicker than water.